I mean, it would be, for me, I feel, for a person who has not had an office for these 20 months I've been there, I don't have an official office. So I guess I have an office.
At least now you have an office.
Yeah, but an office just dedicated for my parliament work. But I wouldn't say that I'm excited, you know, maybe also because I come from the corporate world and certain offices are treated with some certain level of, I would say, respect, privacy, and dignity to some extent. And I was just reading the papers. I've seen that Parliamentary Service Commission has a whole spread in both the papers, speaking very highly about this. They call it the modern tower. I don't know. Maybe the definition of modern has changed.
It looks very nice from the photos I can see.
When you have
from
lifts
outside, it looks very nice.
that take forever to work, lifts that the speed that operates is like from 18 years ago. I don't know whether that is modern. I don't know. I'm not sure about that description. I can see that the clerks of both the National Assembly and the Senate are speaking very highly. I would question that as well, because for me, when you have a building that was budgeted at 5.8 billion and then you end up with a total cost of 9.6 billion, I wouldn't be speaking very highly about that. In fact, I would have to sit there with a dossier of a report to tell Kenyans why the cost of a building, you know, just skyrocketed double.
But even looking at the time it has taken to have this,
and even just the time it has taken,
because it started in 2010. These are 14 years later.
Fred, you know, unfortunately, or should I say fortunately, my background is in architecture. You know, I studied architecture and I actually practiced for at least about a year, and I was in that field of construction. So there are so many red flags that I can imagine we would need a spread to really try to speak highly about it. But personally, just as an end user of the product, because now when they started the project, obviously I was not in Parliament. Now I'm the end user, and I'll tell you that there are so many strange things about the building.
Very so strange, because I know you mentioned something about privacy, and I'm wondering, what kind of privacy? Yeah, to begin with,
you know, the way the offices have been set up, and I don't think that was the intent. I think this is something that happened towards the end. I feel like there was not, the architectural process, or even maybe the brief of it, was not targeting members of Parliament. Members of Parliament have a very specific role, and within the confines of the specific role, you'll find that there are things that are necessary for members of Parliament to have. In an office space of a member of Parliament, for instance, there's no way you can lack a waiting room. Because in a day, as an elected member of Parliament, in office, you would see over 50 people. Literally, the electorate builds up and piles queues to your office because they have needs, they have things that they want to talk to their member of Parliament about. There's no waiting room for a member of Parliament. Waiting room? There's no waiting room.
At all?
At all. There isn't. The other thing is that you have the setup of the place is made in such a way that two members of Parliament are sharing an office.
Sharing an office or sharing the common area?
They're sharing an office, because if my staff, if my personal assistant and my secretary has to sit with your personal assistant and your secretary, we are sharing an office. We are sharing resources. We are sharing a common entrance.
But many may wonder, what is so wrong with sharing?
Let me tell you what is. It's not about anything that is wrong with sharing. It's about the nature of the work that you're doing. It's about the nature of politics. It's about the nature of that office in itself. Okay. You are dealing with very sensitive issues from different types of people, different constituencies of people. That's one thing. The second thing, politics in its nature requires that as a member of Parliament, you are able to have full visibility of your staff, of your work, and have the sense of, let me say, control of the operations of your work. Okay. When you are put together with another member of Parliament, and just like a normal workplace, they have to interact. My PA has to interact with your PA, because now they're sitting in the same office. You know what that means? That means that if I'm attending a certain specific event that I probably would not want to have other members anticipate, it is already out there. It means that if they are on phone calls trying to deal with the electorate on sensitive matters,
someone else is listening.
Someone else is listening.
Okay.
And you know, this issue of sharing has nothing to do with privilege. It has everything to do with the nature of the work. As a matter of fact, I have raised this concern and asked, because I've seen that the clerk of both houses have spoken very highly talking about all these lovely things about that place. I have asked, why haven't they both taken a unit to share? Okay. Because if these are people who are supposed to serve members of parliament, you understand? They are at the service, the clerk of the National Assembly and the clerk of the Senate are at the service of the members of parliament.
There's also the issue about the size.
Yes.